Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmiham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Muddhara Samasta Janakalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam Atmanamakhilādharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhaye Arthatopyadvayanandan Ati Tadvaita Bhanatah Gurunaradhya Vedanta Saram Vakshe Yathamati. We were seeing the elaboration of Mahavakya, how to understand Mahavakya. Whenever there is Vistara done, Vistara means elaboration done of any topic, the purpose is that Vistara helps our mind stay with that topic. If you do anything quickly, it is very hard for the mind to pay attention to it and to continuously reflect upon it. Simple example is, we can do puja in 5 minutes also. We can do it in 1.5 hours, 2 hours also. Whenever Vistara is done, it is easier for this mind to sit in front of Bhagwan. So many things are happening. It will pay closer attention, and in and through that, the main purpose of that thing is fulfilled. The purpose of puja is mind should turn towards the Lord. So in 5 minutes, it is hard to do. So they say do it in 1.5 hours. Mahavakya Vichara we have heard in so many texts. Tat Tvam Asi Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi Mahavakya. Almost every text of Vedanta will have Mahavakya Upadesha. Tattva Bodha also we saw. But there Vistara was not done. Vistara means elaboration. That is the uniqueness of Vedanta Saar. Mahavakya is taken and it is elaborated so vividly, but the purpose is mind should start doing Mahavakya Vichara. In Amrita Bindu Upanishad, there is one example. Mahavakya Vichara is compared to churning of 2 wooden cups. In olden days, whenever they had yajna, they would not use a lighter or a matchstick to create the fire. They would take 2 aranis, wooden cups, rub it against each other, and the spark that comes, that would be caught in coconut, the top part of that coconut, or some cotton. That spark, you cannot directly put it in yajna also. You have to first catch it and then take that little bit of spark. It will slowly start becoming into a bigger conflagration, and then you use that fire for yajna. So Mahavakya Vichara, in that Upanishad mantra, it says, it is like creating that spark of fire. Jnana netram samadhaya uddharet vahnivat param. Netra means rope. Jnana netra. Through the rope of this knowledge, churn tatpada. or churn Tvam Pada. Tat Pada we don't have to do anything. Tat Pada is just there. One of that arani, we have to keep churning it. And from that, Uddharet Vahnivat Param. That spark of knowledge comes forth. What is the knowledge? Second line says, Nishkalam Nishalam Shantam. Tad Brahmaham iti smrutam. I am that Nishkala, partless Brahman. I am Shanta, ever of the nature of calmness and peace. Nishchalam. There is no kartrutva in me, there is no doership in me, no action possible in this Chaitanya. This is the result of Mahavakya Vichara. But when you turn 2 cups like this and do it at a very fast pace, spark doesn't come right at the first instance. First you have to try Samanadhikarana, then you have to try Visheshana Visheshya bhava, then you have to come to the third one, Lakshana Lakshya. Lot of smoke can also come. But all of that is part of Mahavakya Vichara only. So in the last class we had seen the first Sambandha, the first relationship that we try to inquire is between the padas. Are the words indicating different things, or are the words trying to indicate one thing? Now words themselves might be different. For example, we had said, if you say the statement, what was the statement? Aham mitrena saha parikramanam gatavan. I went with my friends for a hike. Now I is different, meaning of I is different. Parikramanam means hike is different. Friends are different. Going is an action. Now all these words are used in a sentence, but they are related to each other. But they are indicating different things. But now if I say Sukhakaram Prahladaniyam Parikramanam, although I am using 3 words, Sukhakaram means that which was very joy-giving. Prahladaniyam means refreshing. And then Parikramanam is the hike. So although 3 words are used, the main purpose of that sentence is to indicate one thing. The hike itself is being indicated by 2 different adjectives. So the first type of statement where there are different things pointed out, that is called as Bheda Samsarga Vakya. Bheda Samsarga Vakya. What was the other example? Gam Dandena Anaya. Bring the cow with a stick. Cow is different, stick is different, bringing action is different. This is called as Bheda Samsarga Vakya. And if the statement is trying to reveal one thing, if the statement is trying to reveal one thing, that is called as Abheda Samsarga Vakya. They're still related, the words are still related to each other, but they're trying to indicate one locus. Another grammatical way of looking at this is, we should just look at the case ending. Gam Dandena Anaya. Gam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. Object, right? Dvitiya Vibhakti. Dandena Tritiya Vibhakti, instrument case. Anaya is a verb. But if you say Neelam Utpalam, Neelam is also in Prathama Vibhakti, Utpalam is also in Prathama Vibhakti. So whichever words are in the same case ending, they are indicating that one thing only in that statement. Okay, so this type of Sambandha, where one locus is pointed out, one Adhikarana is pointed out, that is called as Samanadhikarana or Samanadhikaranya. Samanadhikaranya Sambandha. Okay. So now, once we know that one locus is pointed out, let us say, now let us take the example of Neelam Utpalam, Blue Lotus. Now what is the question? Okay, this sentence is pointing out to one locus. But what is that locus? So from Pada, we have to go to Padasya Artha, the meaning of that word. called as Padartha. So between Padartha, there is Visheshana Visheshya Sambandha. If all the words are in the same case ending, that means one is the qualified, others are the qualifier. Now you can add more Visheshanas also. Huh? You can say Neelam, Mahat, Sugandhi, Utpalam. Neelam is blue, Mahat means big, nicely blossomed. Sugandhi means fragrant. Utpalam means lotus. Now there are 4 words here. Neelam, Mahat, Sugandhi, Utpalam. Now between those words, if you want to find Adhikarana, which is the Adhikarana? So for that you have to find which one is Visheshana, which one is Visheshya. So that is how we go from Samanadhikarana to Visheshana Visheshya bhava. Okay. Now when you come to Visheshana Visheshya bhava, we come to realize in Neelam Utpalam case it is working. But in the case of Tattvam Asi, Visheshana Visheshya will not work. That part briefly we saw, more elaborately we'll see today in the words. Tat cannot become Visheshana of Tvam. Tvam cannot become Visheshana of Tat. So then we say, although Samanadhikarana told us it is one locus, but to find out that one locus, we are unable to use Visheshana Visheshya Sambandha, qualifier and qualified relationship, we are unable to use. That is why we have to use the third type of Sambandha, which is called as Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. Now careful here. Huh? Between Pada, there was Samanadhikarana. Between Padartha, we said there could be Visheshana Visheshya bhava. Between those two Padartha, Tat and Tvam Padartha and Pratyagatma, there is Lakshya Lakshana bhava. The two Padarthas will become the indicators and the Pratyagatma will become indicated. Indicator means Lakshana, indicated means Lakshya. Okay, so Samanadhikaranya we had seen in the verse itself. Although the two words are having different meanings, they are pointing out to the same locus. So here Swamiji took the example of Soham Devadatta. Saha refers to that Devadatta 15 years back who was so little, dressed very differently, looked differently. And Ayam refers to this Devadatta, who is grown up now. After 15 years he has come, 30-year-old, dressed very differently, looks very different, beard is there, everything is different. So Saha is Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta. That Devadatta who is conditioned by 15 years ago, time. So Kala is conditioning him, that is how Saha is defined. And Ayam is Etat Kala Vishishta Devadatta. That Devadatta whom we are seeing right now, conditioned by this time. Okay. But although they are two different words, Bhinna Pravritti is there. But they are pointing out to one locus. When you say Saha Ayam Devadatta, it says there is Samanadhikaranya between Saha and Ayam. In the same way, although Tat refers to that conditioning, that consciousness from which creation has emerged, that which has Ajnanadi, Samashti Upadi and Upahita Chaitanya. And Tvam refers to this Jiva who was born recently, right? You see, that is referring to this Tvam, but really speaking, it is referring to that Chaitanya. Between Tat and Tvam, there is Samanadhikaranya between the words. Grammatically also, if you see, both are in first case. Both are in Prathama Vibhakti, that is why there is Samanadhikaranya. Now let us try to find the Adhikarana. That is how we went, right? From Samanadhikaranya to Visheshana Visheshya bhava. Why do we go? Because now we are interested in finding that Adhikarana, that common locus. So let us try to apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava. This is 152 verse. Visheshana Visheshya bhava Sambandhastu yatha tatra eva vakye sashabdartha tatkala vishishta devadattasya ayam shabdartha etatkala vishishta devadattasya cha अन्योन्य भेद व्यावर्तकतया विशेषण विशेष्य भावः तथा अत्रापि वाक्ये तत्पदार्थ परोक्षत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्यस्य त्वं पदार्थ अपरोक्षत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्यस्य च अन्योन्य भेद व्यावर्तकतया विशेषण विशेष्य भावः विशेषण विशेष्य भाव संबंध तु. Having defined Samanadhikarana Sambandha, Swamiji is now defining Visheshana Visheshya Sambandha. Tatra eva vakye. In the same example that we saw before, Saha ayam devadattaha, Soyam devadattaha, Sa Shabdartha. Now he is coming to Shabdartha, means Padartha. It is not only Sa Shabda, but it is a meaning indicated by Saha Shabda. Why? Because we are now trying to apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava. Shabda cannot become Visheshana by itself. That Shabda should indicate something. That thing will become Visheshana. Now what is Sa Shabda indicating? Sa Shabdartha Tat Kala Vishishta Devadattasya. That Devadatta who is conditioned by that time. Tat Kala Vishishta. Ayam Shabdartha Etat Kala Vishishta Devadasya. What is Ayam Shabda referring to? Ayam Shabdartha Devadatta conditioned by this time. Etat Kala Vishishta Devadattasya. Now interestingly, both have contradictory attributes. And you cannot put both of them together if this time difference is not there. If it is not Tat Kala and Etat Kala, you cannot say right now Devadatta is short also, Devadatta is long also. Devadatta has beard also, Devadatta does not have beard also. So what happens is, when you apply this Visheshanas, Saha Ayam Devadatta, now those Visheshanas cancel out each other. Because the nature of this statement is such that at one point you cannot have two contradictory attributes. Let's say even those king's name and all, some names get repeated over a period of time, right? King Philip, King George. Then they put junior, senior, right? Because it cannot be the same person at the same time. One is senior, another is junior. So Anyonya Bheda Vyavartakataya. Whatever contradictory attributes are there, they are getting removed by these Visheshanas. And how will you remove this? It says that removal process will be done by Lakshana. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen is, you will say Vakyartha itself is giving the meaning. Visheshana Visheshya bhava cancelled the attributes. It says cancelling is not part of Visheshana Visheshya bhava. It will take you to Lakshana and there it will get cancelled. Because which part to keep, which part to leave, Lakshanas will decide. Okay. But over here, just look at the sentence now. Visheshana, where are we? Ayam Shabdartha Etat Kala Vishishta Devadattasya Anyonya Bheda Vyavartakataya. The contradictory parts which were there, Saha and Ayam, those contradictory parts, they get cancelled and Devadatta remains. So Moola Artha, that Vyavartanam was not done. Only the Bheda that was removed. Now interesting thing to note here is, this is unlike Blue Lotus example. There also there is Visheshana Visheshya bhava, but the blue color does not remove itself, nor does it remove the lotus. It removes everything else. But here when you say Saha Ayam Devadatta, other than Devadatta, all Visheshanas get removed. So Swamiji here is going to say, in the case of Soyam Devadatta Vakya, you can apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava. But again, we should remember that Visheshana Visheshya bhava will take us to Lakshanas while cancelling out the contradictory parts. Okay. Tatha Atrapi Vakye, just like in Soyam Devadatta, Visheshana Visheshya bhava you applied and all the attributes got cancelled. Here also, Tat Padartha. Now what is Tat Padartha? Meaning of Tat Pada. The meaning of Tat Pada. Parokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyasya. That consciousness which is conditioned by Parokshatva and all other attributes which were there of Tatpada, Sarvajñatva, Sarveshwaratva. Of that Chaitanya, Tvam Padartha Aparokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyasya. And this Tvam Pada, which is indicated by Aparokshatvadi Vishishta. The Visheshana for Tvam Pada is Aparokshatva. That consciousness which is conditioned by Aparokshatvadi Upadis. Anyonya Bheda Vyavartakataya. When you put Tat and Tvam together, they will do Anyonya Bheda Vyavartana. The contradictory parts which are there, they will be removed from that Chaitanya. So how will you remove it? Through Lakshana only. Okay. But if you take it in that way, Visheshana Visheshya bhava can be applied in Tattvam Asi Mahavakya. But not directly, not like Tat becoming Visheshana for Tvam or Tvam becoming Visheshana for Tat. That will be later refuted. So now Swamiji is only saying, if you say Soyam Devadatta Vakya, in that case, how this Visheshanas fought against each other and indicated Devadatta. In that way, this Tat and Tvam will cancel out the Visheshanas and it will indicate Shuddha Chaitanya. But actually speaking, we don't say all the attributes are Visheshanas. Lakshana is the best word, otherwise it will confuse more. You know why I'm saying this? Later on, when you study other Upanishad, there this idea will be refuted. For example, in Taittiriya Upanishad, where it is said, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gives elaborate description to say why Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are not Visheshanas. He says this is unlike saying Neelam Mahat Sugandhi Utpalam. So it is not that there is something called as Brahma, which is having Satya as an adjective, Jnana as an adjective. You say it will become an inert object. So that point we should keep in mind. So this is Visheshana Visheshya bhava. So now Visheshana Visheshya bhava, that was the second Sambandha. Now that is taking us to the third one, which is Lakshana. Lakshana means between the Padarthas, between the two words, or the meaning of the two words, between the Padartha and the Pratyagatma Vastu, Shuddha Chaitanya, between that there is Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. Okay, this is very nice one. Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha tu Lakshya Lakshana Sambandhastu Yatha Tatra Eva Sa Shabda Ayam Shabda Yoho Tadarthayoho va Viruddha Tatkala Etatkala Vishishtatva Parityagena Aviruddha Devadattena Saha Lakshya Lakshana bhava Tatha Atrapi Vakye Tattvam Padayoho Tadarthayoho Va Va Viruddha Parokshatva Aparokshatvadi Vishishtatva Parityagena Aviruddha Chaitanyena Saha Lakshya Lakshana bhava. Tat padarthayoho Chaitanyena Saha Lakshya Lakshana bhava. Means tat tvam padarthayoho, of that tat and tvam padartha, and aviruddha Chaitanya, that Chaitanya, Shuddha Chaitanya which is there, between them there is Lakshya Lakshana bhava. This is the main teach, essence of this verse. The Lakshya Lakshana Sambandhastu. Now I am going to explain the third type of Sambandha, Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. How is it like? He says yatha, just like tatra eva. You take that same sentence, don't change your example, otherwise it will become very confusing. They say same sentence you take, sahayam devadattah, sa shabda. What is sa shabda referring to? Tat kala vishishta devadatta, and ayam is referring to etat kala vishishta devadatta. Sa shabda ayam shabdayoho tad arthayoho va. Between the shabda or their meanings, when you put them together, viruddha tatkala etatkala vishishtatva parityagena. If you have to make sense of that statement, you have to let go of viruddha amsha, the contradictory aspects. What is the contradictory aspect? In one case he was short, another case he was tall. How can you say is the same Devadatta? In one case he does not have a beard, another case he has a beard. Right? So these are viruddha amsha between those two. But that is not Devadatta's essential nature. Whether he has beard or does not have beard, he is still Devadatta only. So on the strength of that knowledge, we are able to let go of viruddha amsha. Viruddha amsha parityagena aviruddha devadattena saha lakshana lakshana bhava. Now saha and ayam, the meaning of that word, and devadatta, they have laksha lakshana sambandha. Although you said saha ayam devadatta, that word saha and that word ayam really indicated that devadatta by negating all other conditionings. Viruddha amsha that was there, that was negated. Now come to Mahavakya. In the same way, he says tatha atra api. Just like in the case of Soham Devadatta, here also in the case of Tattvam Asi Mahavakya, Tattvam Padayoho. Between those two padas, Tat and Tvam Pada, or their meaning, Tattvam Padayoho, Tad Arthayoho Va. Between their meanings, Viruddha Parokshatva Aparokshatvadi Vishishtatva Parityagena. What is the Viruddha amsha now between Tat and Tvam? Parokshatva and Aparokshatva. We feel Tat is Paroksha, all Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, all these attributes are never Pratyaksha to me. They are always Paroksha, that which we cannot see through physical eyes, cannot even fathom through our mind. And Aparokshatva means Alpajnatva, everything I know as a Jiva. Says when you hear the word Tat and Tvam, those two words should remove these contradictory aspects. Because what they are really indicating is not this contradictory aspect, but that Aviruddha Chaitanya. Aviruddha Chaitanya means that Chaitanya which is not contradicted by anything, which doesn't have any contradiction in Tat also and in Tvam also. Aviruddha, अपरोक्षत्वादि विशिष्टत्व परित्यागेन अविरुद्ध चैतन्येन सह लक्ष्य लक्षण भाव. So although the word tat is indicating सर्वज्ञत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्य, परोक्षत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्य, but it is actually referring to chaitanya only. That is why it is called as lakshana. If you have to make sense of this statement, you will have to apply this lakshana. If we could make sense of this statement directly, if tat was referring to paroksha, tvam refers to aparoksha, and you say tat tvam asi, along with these conditionings we can understand, we don't have to go to lakshanas. That part will be analyzed later. So here Swamiji is only elaborating that what happens in lakshana. He says whatever viruddha amsha is there, contradictory aspects are there, they are negated. Now you can again go back to whatever we have discussed before. Remember there was one statement about vikara and vivarta. Sa tattvato anyatha pratha vikaraha iti udiritaha. Means really if something is undergoing change, that is called as vikara. What was the example? Milk changing to yogurt. Atattvato anyatha pratha vivarta iti udirata. If something is undergoing change only as an appearance, means that object has really not undergone change, it's only appearing differently, that is called as vivarta. And the example was snake rope, mirage water, any of those illusion examples you can take. If you say illusory example, then you say example itself is not in that way. Examples of illusion. Okay. Now, this Mahavakya, when it is said, let go of viruddhamsha, this question should come to sadhaka. Why? While putting Mahavakya together, you say Tattvamasi, you can make sense only when you apply Lakshya Lakshana bhava. And in Lakshya Lakshana, you should let go of contradictory aspects. You say in Devadatta, I can understand. Beard, no beard, he is still Devadatta. Tall, short, he is still Devadatta. But when it comes to Tattvamasi Mahavakya, how can you just say, let go of all conditionings? Let go of Tvam Upadi, let go of Ajnanadi, Samashti Upadi. Look back at what we have studied. We went through Adhyaropa Prakriya. Then when it came to Apavada, Swamiji started with this and he said, please note that Apavada is possible only because all Upadhis are Vivarta. From that Chaitanya, nothing really can emerge. If at all anything is appearing, it is Mithya. On the strength of this, they say apply Lakshya Lakshana bhava and then end up with that Shuddha Chaitanya. Okay, now this is the journey of Mahavakya Vichara. But to come here, this sadhaka has traveled a long journey. To come here means to do Viruddha Amsha Parityaga. From Upadi, or to remove this Upadi itself. Viruddha Amsha is Upadi only. Tat Upadi and Tvam Upadi. To directly come to Mahavakya and remove Ajnanam, this mind, this physical body, everything from Tvam Upadi, he has done a lot of sadhana. Where did he start doing Parityaga? Starting all the way from Adhikari Lakshana. What was said? Kamya Nishiddha Varjana Purassaram. He says if you have to do Tyaga of Upadi, if you have to let go of all Upadi, first we have to let go of Kamya Karma from our life, Nishiddha Karma from our life. It starts from there. Tyaga starts from there. This is the final Tyaga of all Upadis. But first he started by giving up Kamya and Nishiddha Karma. And if you notice, all Tyaga has to happen in Tvam-pada only. We should not start with doing Tyaga of Tatpada Upadi. Right? So he starts with Tvam-pada. Tvam-pada means Jiva. And he says, my goal is to attain Bhagavan, goal is to attain that Brahma. So his sadhanas are tuned with that goal. Now, this is a very beautiful topic to reflect. I'll just give some hints. We can reflect more on it. In Upanishad, it is said, whatever is nature of Brahma, corresponding to that, sadhaka should try to develop qualities in transactional life. Corresponding to the nature of Brahma, sadhaka should try to develop qualities in transactional life. If our transactional life has qualities which are opposed to Lakshana of Brahma, it will not lead us to Brahma. So few examples we will take and we can appreciate this more. One indicator of Brahma is Satyam. It is Sat Swarupa and it is of the nature of Satyam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Satyam is nature of Brahma. If such Brahman is my goal, then Upanishads say, in transactional life, one should hold on to Satyam. And there is one Upanishad mantra which says, Satyena Pantha Vitato Devayanaha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, one who holds on to truth in transactional life, the path towards moksha is widened for that person. That this comes after that famous mantra, Satyameva Jayate Nanrutam. This is from Mundaka Upanishad. Truth alone wins, not untruth. Satyameva Jayate Nanrutam. But the later part of that is this. Satyena Pantha Vitato Devayana. Means if somebody can hold on to truthfulness in transactional life, meaning what? He has to do tyaga of untruth in transactional life. The main point is this. If we want to do Upadhi Tyaga in Mahavakya, the starting point is in Vyavahara I should do Tyaga of those aspects which are contradictory to Brahma Lakshana. So Asatya Tyaga he does, holds on to Satyam. Now take another Lakshana of Brahma. Brahma is Nitya Shuddha. Brahman is Nitya Shuddha. So in transactional life, this sadhaka does Tyaga of Ashuddhi. So whenever Bhagavan talks about Shaucham, he talks about cleanliness. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan calls Shaucham as Shariraka Tapas. Tapasya at physical body level, he says, is keeping everything around clean. If Brahma is Nitya Shuddha, then first sadhana is to do Tyaga of Ashuddhi. Outside and in mind also. So in every transaction, this sadhaka tries to remove Ashuddha Vrittis and holds on to Shuddha Vritti. Brahman is Adhara Bhuta. It is a substratum of this creation. So in Vyavahara, this sadhaka tries to do Tyaga of exclusiveness. Rather, he tries to become more and more accommodative when it comes to transactional life. But the main point is to appreciate how Tyaga is happening. All sadhanas will finally lead us to Brahma only. In their true essence. Don't say karma will lead to Brahma. But if you look at the true meaning of that one sadhana also, if we can take it to the supreme most height, that will be Brahma Lakshana. So Adhara Bhuta, and of course Ananda, Swarupa is Brahma. I mean, there should be sweetness in transactional life. Right? Like in Ramcharitmanas, all the parts we are seeing of Bhagwan's Charitra. In transactional life, he is showing how Ananda can reflect. So one Parityaga happens like this, Kamya Nishiddha Varjana Purassaram. Then he comes to devotion. The same sadhaka, doing Parityaga, he came to Bhakti. And in devotion, he does Tyaga of his insistence. When it comes to results in life, he says, Bhagwan, whatever you give is your prasad. I am doing swaha of my insistence. And whatever strong doership I have, he says, that also I am doing tyaga of. So this is Bhakti Yoga Sadhana. He does that. Then that sadhaka comes to little bit subtler practices of Ashtanga Yoga, where it is said, one does tyaga of all three gunas. Guna Vaitrishnam means the sadhaka comes to know, I am the drashta of these three gunas. I have nothing to do with three gunas. Until that point, Sattva Guna was getting increased. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, doing all these tyagas, Sattva Guna was increased. And at one point, he says, I am not even these three gunas. Now what happened? Tvam pada upadi tyaga happened. Viruddhamsha parityaga was said here, right? So tvam he has let gone off. Now what about tatpada? Who is going to remove Bhagwan's upadis? He says we don't really have to remove. Bhagwan only says this. In several places he says, you let go of your upadi, I will let go of my upadi. Means he's telling a jiva. All the conditionings that Bhagwan has taken up, that is only from the standpoint of jiva's conditioning. Bhagwan says, in essential nature, I am Satchidananda Brahma. Means what? I am you. In essential nature. But if jiva wears the conditioning of Antahkarana, jiva wears the conditioning of Antahkarana, Bhagwan wears the condition of Antaryami. If jiva wears conditioning of Karta, I am the doer. Bhagwan says, don't remove my conditioning. I am Karma Phala Data. Either remove both or keep both. Or in other words, either remove both, or in other words, remove both conditionings as the final thing. But in transactional life, surrender that individual conditioning to total. That is the safest option. Vyavaharika things, Vyashti surrender to Samashti. But in Paramartha, Vyashti and Samashti, both conditionings can be dropped. And in particular, Tvampada conditioning should be dropped. If I say I am Akarta, Abhokta, Bhagwan says I am not interested in becoming Karma Phaladata and some other titles that I have taken up. Just like in deep sleep. In deep sleep, we let go of Kartrutva. Although you can say Prajna is having Bhoktrutva there, but Kartrutva at least we let go of. Right? And once you let go of Kartrutva, there is no Karma Phala, there is no Bheda also between Karma Phala Data and Karta. There is no Jagat also. He says, in that way, one should live in this waking world. Not easy, huh? To abide in that Chaitanya and to clearly know that I am not Karta, I am not Bhokta. That is this teaching. So, Tyaga of Tvampada Upadi will happen through first sadhana and then Drigdrishya Viveka. That was the main topic of Drigdrishya Viveka. I am the seer, mind and everything outside is the seen. So that itself is Tyaga of Tvampada Upadi. And Tatpada Upadi, we don't have to do Tyaga in any different way. Once we let go of Tatpada, once we let go of Tvampada Upadi, Bhagwan says, I will let go of my Upadi. Isha Jiva Yoho Vesha Dibhida. Sat Swabhavato Vastu Kevala. Between Tat and Tvam, the difference comes only because of conditionings. So do all the sadhanas to purify these conditionings such that it can help us transcend them. So this is part of Lakshana Lakshya Sambandha. This is also called as Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That's what Swamiji is elaborating now. iyameva bhagalakshana iti uchyate. Bhagalakshana iti uchyate. This alone is called as bhagalakshana. What is called as bhagalakshana? Lakshana Lakshya bhava. That alone is called. Now he is going to elaborate it. What is Lakshana Lakshya bhava? He will again say. But before we go to that part, he is clarifying one more thing. He said you saw Visheshana Visheshya Sambandha, right? The second category. If you take the example of Blue Lotus, he says, Blue Lotus, you can apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava Sambandha. But in Tattvam Asi, you cannot apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava like you applied in Blue Lotus. In Soham Devadatta, it was okay. But if you take Neelam Utpalam, there you cannot apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava. Clear or no? If you take Neelam Utpalam, you cannot apply. I mean, in that example, you can apply. But how you applied in that example, like that you cannot apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava in Tattvam Asi Mahavakya. In Soham Devadatta, Visheshana Visheshya bhava could still work because it was going to Lakshanas. It was doing Anyonya Bheda Vyavartanam. It was removing each other's Visheshanas, cancelling out each other. It was okay there. But in Blue Lotus example, they are not removing anything. Blue also remains, Lotus also remains. So your Dvaitam will remain if you apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava in Tattvam Asi. So you see what he says now. Asmin Vakye Neelam Utpalam iti Vakyadvaya Vakyarthaha na sangacchate tatratu Neelapadartha Neelagunasya Utpalapadartha Utpaladravyasya cha Shauklya Patadi Bheda Vyavartakataya Anyonya Visheshana Vishesha Rupa Samsargasya Anyatara Vishishtasya Anyatarasya Tadaikyasya Vakyarthatva Angikare Pramanantara Virodha Abhavat Tadvakyarthaha Sangacchate. So Asmin Vakye 155, in this statement, Tattvam Asi Mahavakye, Neelam Utpalam iti Vakyarthavat. Like Neelam Utpalam, how one can apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava, Vakyarthaha na sangacchate. Literal meaning will not work. Vakyarthaha na sangacchate. Now he explains what happens in the mind when somebody is asked to bring a Blue Lotus. There is a movie, right? Inside Out. Whatever is happening outside or whatever is happening in the mind, they are showing it outside. Like this, when you say Neelam Utpalam, what happens in the mind, he is vividly describing it. This is in case of Neelam Utpalam, it can work, but not in the case of Tattvam Asi Mahavakya. Tatratu Neela Padartha Neela Gunasya. Let us not get into technical discussion. We can get into it, but it will elaborate it too much. But you can just say between the blue color. Neela Padartha Neela Gunasya. Neela Padartha refers to blue color. Utpala Padartha Utpala Dravyasya. The word Utpala refers to that lotus Dravya. Okay. What are they doing? The moment you say Utpala, or moment you say Neela, it removes all other colors. Shaukya means all other, white over here, but whatever other colors are there, it is removing That is what blue word does. Neela guna will remove all other colors. Moment you say lotus, it will remove all other objects. We had seen that example, right? This person goes to a florist, and there is a blue lotus, there is a yellow lotus, red lotus, white lotus, there is a blue cloth, blue pen. Now if you say just bring the lotus, now it could be any color lotus. Or if you say bring blue, so blue what? Blue pen, blue cloth, blue lotus. But the moment you say blue lotus, that blue has removed all colors and lotus has removed all objects. Shauklya patadi bheda vyavartakataya. Keep looking at the verse also. We are just trying to understand that verse. Bheda vyavartakataya. The words are removing all other things, bhedas, which could have hindered in understanding that statement. Those things are removed. Now, such kind of relation, if it is there, one is Visheshana, another is Visheshya, he said there could be three possibilities. In Visheshana Visheshya, there could be three possibilities. Anyonya Visheshana Visheshya Rupa Samsargasya. Either blue can become Visheshana for lotus, or lotus can become Visheshana for blue. That blueness which is conditioned by the lotus. Otherwise, it could have been a blue cloth also. It could have been a blue pen also. But that lotus is acting as a conditioning for that blue color. Or blue can become conditioning for lotus. So anyonya can be there. That is one possibility. Second is anyatara vishishtasya anyatarasya. Second possibility within Visheshana Visheshya is only one way. Blue becomes conditioning for lotus. That's it. Don't apply it the other way around. Simple enough, right? It says either it can work both ways or it can be only one way. Blue becomes conditioning for lotus. Or tadaikyasya va. You can say blue and lotus, they're as though one. When you say blue lotus, that blue has become one with that lotus. Dravya and guna always stay together. So he says that could be the third possibility when you say Visheshana Visheshya bhava. What is the first one? One can become conditioning for the other second can become conditioning for the first. Second possibility is only one way. Blue can become conditioning for the lotus. Or third is you can say they are as though one. Blue is one with that lotus. How much difference is there between blue color and the lotus? They're together, right? He says tadaikyasya va. If you take the literal meaning, either one of these three, that is the next part here, tadaikyasya va vakyartatva angikare. Angikare means if you accept it, if you just accept vakyartha, pramanantara virodha abhavat, because there is no other contradictory pramana to refute this. Means you can directly get the meaning of what that padartha is, blue lotus. There is no ambiguity over here. Therefore, vakyartha sangacchate. That is why vakyartha can be possible here. In the case of blue lotus. Now he is going to say, in case of Tattvam Asi, you cannot apply this. Okay, let us see now. Atratu tat padartha parokshatvadi vishishta chaitanyasya tvam padartha aparokshatvadi vishishta chaitanyasya cha anyonya bheda vyavartakataya Visheshana Visheshya bhava samsargasya anyatara vishishtasya anyatarasya tadaikyasya va vakyarthatva angikare pratyakshadi pramana virodhat vakyarthah na sangacchate. Atratu means in this Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi, tat padartha parokshatvadi vishishta chaitanyasya. If you try to apply Visheshana Visheshya like in Neelam Utpalam, So one term like Neelam was one word, and that indicated blue color. So he says Tat Pada is indicating that Chaitanya which is conditioned by Parokshatvadi, Upadi. Tvam Padartha Aparokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyasya. And Tvam Pada is indicating that consciousness which is conditioned by Aparokshatvadi Upadi. Cha Anyonya Bheda Vyavartakataya Visheshana Visheshya bhava samsargasya. If you try to apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava, what will happen? He says Anyatara Vishishta, or first one is Anyonya Bheda Vyavartakataya Visheshana Visheshya bhava. That is the first category, right? Anyonya, it can condition each other. Just like blue color conditioned lotus, lotus conditioned blue color. So what is the similarity now? Tat will try to condition Tvam, and Tvam will try to condition Tat. If you say both are becoming Visheshanas of each other. Now think about it, how this statement will look. Tat trying to condition Tvam. So Tat refers to Sarvajna. Just let us take one indicator. Tvam, let us say, is Devadatta only. Safe example it is. Keep Devadatta, it will be easy to understand. So Tat conditioning Tvam means how will that statement be? Sarvajna Devadatta. That Devadatta who is all-knowing. Sarvajna Devadatta is searching for his car keys. He knows everything, but he is searching something here. He says Tat cannot become conditioning for Tvam. Now flip it around. Tvam becoming conditioning for Tat. Tvam means what? You can say samsari. Why samsari? You say alpajna only. Okay. Alpajna Bhagwan or Alpajna Sarvajna Bhagwan, because Sarvajna title is still there, right? Tatpada you have kept as it is. And Tvam-pada becomes Visheshana for Tatpada. So Tvam-pada's Visheshana is Alpajna. This is Alpajna Sarvajna Bhagwan. This is why in Ramcharitmanas, whenever Bhagwan does Leelas, Goswamiji reminds us, he is doing Leela of Alpajna. That doesn't mean he has become Alpajna. His Sarvajnatva is always there. His Aishwarya is ever there. That is why he is Bhagwan. This was a mistake that Satiji committed. When she sees Bhagwan crying and running from one tree to another, when Sitaji is taken away, she feels this is Sarvajna. He is, Alpajna, he doesn't even know where is Sitaji. And he is Ananda Swarupa, he is lamenting. So Bhagwan folds his hands and says, where is Lord Shiva? Meaning what? Not only that I know you are Satiji, but I also know that Lord Shiva is there somewhere and you have come over here not according to his wish. So many things Bhagwan says, I am Sarvajna, that Sarvajnatva is always there with me. Even yesterday when that prasanga came, that Bhagwan is tired and is taking a dip in Gangaji, takes a sip and then feels refreshed. Goswamiji reminded there also. He said, don't think that Bhagwan is really tired. The name of whom removes samsara of jivas, how can that Bhagwan get tired? But he does it because charita karata nara anuharata samsruti sagara setu. He does this charitra so that jiva can do uddhara, jiva can rise up. But actually speaking, Tvam cannot become conditioning for Tat. If it cannot work both ways, it cannot work one way also. So second condition is also out. Anyatara Vishishtasya Anyatarasya Tad Aikyasya va. Neither can you say both are together, because they have contradictory conditionings. At conditioning level, there will always be Bheda. Vakyarthatva Angikare Pratyakshadi Pramana Virodhat. In the previous case, Neelam Utpalam case, there was no Virodha. You could directly take Vakyartha. But here you will have Pratyakshadi Pramana Virodha. All other Pramanas, they will have contradiction if you only take Vakyartha. Means you cannot, of course, pratyaksha we cannot even see. You cannot even do anumanam of this kind of vyapti, or this kind of pratijna. If you make a statement, Jiva is Ishvara at Vachartha level, you say then give drishtanta. Which Jiva have you found who has been like Ishvara, who is not born because of karma? All those things, fallacies will come. That is why he says pratyakshadi pramana virodhat. If you have studied praman vichara, such statements will open up more. Pramana adi means what? All 6 pramanas that you are there, you cannot use for such kind of pratijna. Na sangachate, vakyartah na sangachate. Okay. Now with this portion, the definitions of the 3 sambandhas they are done. Samanadhikarana Sambandha, that was defined. Visheshana Visheshya bhava was defined. And Lakshana Lakshya Sambandha was defined. And then we said padas are in Samanadhikarana, but you cannot apply Visheshana Visheshya bhava for padartha. That is why we have to go to Lakshanas. Now, what are the different type of Lakshanas? They will be elaborated from the next verse. Very beautiful topic. See, one part is to see technically. Even Lakshana part, what we are going to see, it's a technical analysis. But another is to see in our own life how these Lakshanas can work for us. Like how we saw today, right? Viruddhamsha Parityaga. But Tyaga started from a long time back. It started with Tyaga of Kamya Karma, Nishiddha Karma. So that is the applied side of the same mantras, the same vakyas that we are studying. Okay, that we'll see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.